Hey everyone, as you may know, Affinity by Canva, the new Affinity 3.0, is now out and it is a game changer. And I wanted to make a video about 10 different things that you should know before you start using this Affinity, because it's a little bit different and I think you should know these before you start. So let's get right into it. So the first thing you should know is that it's totally free. So the way that it's free is because it's tied to Canva. So if you go here, affinity.studio, Affinity by Canva, you can see right here, and you want to get Affinity, you click on here, and you'll notice to download Affinity, sign in with your Canva account or create one for free. So it's kind of Canva's way of doing freemium content or free content so that you can sign up for the new stuff, or that's what they do for Canva right now. You can get a Canva account for free, but there's a lot of other things that aren't free that come with it. And this is kind of the same way. Affinity, what we know as Affinity, all the things on there are actually free, but what I'll show you later is there's a link to Canva AI within it, and that is not free. So some of the new things that I think Canva is going to keep adding to it to make Affinity even better will probably not be free in the future. But as it stands, Affinity, Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher, at least what were those upgrades, those next steps of the third version of that, is actually free. All those things that you could use before is free with a Canva account. The second thing you should know is that it's customizable. So I'm here on Affinity right now, and you can see I have Vector, Pixel, and Layout, which used to be called Designer, Photo, and Publisher. And you also have the Canva AI, which I just talked about, but you can customize these studios. You can turn them on and off. You can turn these on and off. You can even create your own studio. But not only that, you can customize this right here, the toolbar, these three dots right here as well. You can put the separator in if you want right here, or you can add another area tool. You can even combine layout tools with Vexel tools and Pixel tools in here, all in your toolbar in your studio or any of these studios, and move it around. You can even move the placement of these. So if you want this one, the pencil tool up higher because you use it, you can. And if you want to put a pencil tool, you can even drag these things out. So if you want, let's say, the square tool outside of it, you can put it right there, and now you just have the square tool, and here you have some of the other ones, right? So you can totally customize it, or you can reset it. Right here, I'm going to reset my tools, and they're back to the default tools. You can also right-click on here, customize the toolbar, and make that custom. So it's pretty customizable to what you want. You can create studios, move your toolbar, move things around much more than you used to. So now you can do even more customization. You could always move these tables around, or these ones right here, and move them around. But now you can do even more customization. So the third thing is that all three apps are in one. So I kind of showed you that right here. The studios, Vector Studio, Pixel Studio, Layout Studio, Canva AI. But a neat thing is, whatever you have on its artboard, you don't have to change artboards. It doesn't change it. You can just use the same artboard and just switch around these. In fact, you could put those tools, like I said, all on your own studio and not have to change through it, and have the vector tools that you like, or the pixel tools that you want, and the layout tools that you want, all in your own studio, so you can kind of customize it and never have to switch between any of these if you don't want to. So the artboard stays the same, just what you need to do changes, and it's all in here. By the way, this is kind of Canva's way of taking on Adobe, because the Vector Studio is like Adobe Illustrator, the Pixel Studio is like Adobe Photoshop, the Layout Studio is like Adobe InDesign. So, and they have AI, which Adobe has as well, so you can do all these kinds of AI stuff. I still need to go through this. There'll be a video in the future where I go over all the different things: generative fill tool, generative edit tool, motion blur or portrait blur, and all these different tools that's just in Canva AI. Now this is with a subscription. These three, like I said, Vector, Pixel, and Layout, are totally free with a Canva subscription, but are totally free with the free Canva subscription. You don't have to pay for it. Canva ID or Canva login. But this Canva AI, you need to have Canva Pro to use the AI part. So the fourth thing you need to know is that there is a Mac version and a Windows version or PC version. So when you go there and want to download, make sure you know which one you're downloading. There's also an iPad version coming soon, not yet out, but just like before, I think there's a Mac version and a Windows version. Now you don't have to download all those three, it's all together. So before you'd have to, get all the different apps for it. Now there's just one app, one Mac app, one Windows app, and coming soon, one iPad app. The fifth thing you should know is that it's basically the same if you've had version 2. It's very close to version 2. All the tools are the same, this Vector one, for example, but they just look a little different. So they also have helps. So now you can scroll over them and it will tell you what each tool is. I do that in my video that I'll put it right here. I go over all of them and show you how to use each one of these. Just for the Vector one, I'll do the same for Pixel and Layout and Canva AI in the future, but they're just simplified versions of the icon. They got a UI update and they're trying to simplify it. I don't mind it. I think it's okay. Some people like the colored ones from before, and this one's definitely more simple, more minimal, just one color and minimal lines. The sixth thing you should know is that it can open any file. So whether you have an Illustrator file, PSD file, it can open it up. And I'll show you this right away. All you need to do is to drag it into Affinity, and I'll show you how to do this. All right, I have AI file and a PSD file. I'm gonna do the AI file. You can go over my Affinity like this, drag it in there, and it opens up. Here it is, PDF, and open, and it's still, everything's still there. Look, it's like a SVG, and even the text that I had to make this in Illustrator comes in. It knows what text it is or what font it is. I can also do this PSD, which is a Photoshop file, same thing, drop it in, boom. This is an old one I made way back when. And I submitted this to Threadless a long time ago. And look, it keeps all the layers here too. So that's still great. Affinity can open any file, whether you have Adobe files or other files, it'll just work. The seventh thing you should know about is there's non-destructive editing. Now, what does that mean? Is once you change something in here, it isn't fully changed. Let me show you what I mean here. So the original is still here. So you can see I used pixelate on this one to change this to be more pixelated, but the original one is actually under there. If I turn this off, there it is. It's not exactly pixelated. So it does these layers to change your file or whatever you need, but the original doesn't get destroyed. So it's non-destructive. So that's really cool, because some of the other apps is once you change it, you have to kind of undo it. And if you're so far down, do you really want to undo everything else? This is really nice because you can actually just turn it off, turn the effect off, and it's still there. So really cool that it does that. So the eighth thing you should know about Affinity is that it can export as almost any format. So let me go and show you what I mean. I'm gonna go to File and Export here. By the way, the shortcut for this has changed for export. It is now Command Option Shift W instead of Command Option Shift S for those of you that do shortcuts, but it's right there, so you can learn that. I don't know why they changed it for this, but it does it. And look at all of these options. We got JPEG, we got PNG, GIF or GIF, TIFF, TIF, SVG, EPS, PDF, PSD, EXR. I don't use a bunch of these right here, but you can see it just keeps going. And there's also a thing for Canva. That brings me to the ninth thing, is that you can save to Canva from Affinity. So let me show you, we're here again. I'm gonna save this as an SVG. there's nothing in it, but assume that there's something in it. And for location, you can see I can just save it to Canva. So maybe I should put something in there so you can see that I saved it. Let me just do something really simple. I'll put this box, a black box or gray box right there. Maybe a text really quick here and make it bigger. Let's see, J. I'll put a J right there. Okay, let's say this is it. I'm gonna save as again. Remember, Command, Option, Shift, W, boom. Learning my shortcuts. SVG, save. Instead of location, which you can save to your desktop or a folder or whatever, but you can also save to Canva. So I'm gonna do Canva, and it's asking me which folder in Canva do you want me to save it to. Now I've made a couple of folders in here. You'll have to do that. But I'm gonna just save it to my uploads folder right here, and I'm gonna hit export. Now I'm signed in with my Canva account, right? So I can now go to Canva. Here it is. It pulls it up automatically. I'm in my uploads thing here. I'm on canva.com, and there it is. I can pull it up in Canva, and that makes it easy to add graphics to it or whatever I need in Canva. So pretty cool that it just pulls it in like that. All right, so the last thing I wanted to show you, and I touched upon it in that video that I talked about, but there is image trace now in Affinity. So if you want to change something from a JPEG, which is this is not a vector, you can see, or PNG, you can change it to a vector with image trace, a lot of, like Illustrator does with theirs. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go to vector, I'm gonna go to image trace with this selected here, image trace, and you can see I have some things here, edge control or threshold, curve, fitting tolerance, and I can move these around to kind of see what's going to happen here for this. So not bad. I'm going to pull this up like that, or pull this up like this. One thing I wish it did is ask me how many colors I want, so it can take that down or up, but I think for the first pass this is good. I'm gonna hit apply here, and right away you'll see it did it that fast that this is now a vector. So I can come in here, and these things are actually clickable and editable, and I can change the color on this. So if I want to change the color on this one and this one and this one, if I want to make all of these the same color, whatever, I could come in here and change the color to blue or whatever color I want, because it is vector, and I can trace around it and everything. But it's that fast, and it looks pretty good. Like I think that worked out pretty well. Let's see if the background got knocked out. I'll put the background. Yeah, look at that. The background got knocked out too. So, but if it's not knocked out, like this white right here, you can knock it out using subtract, and I showed that how to do that in my last video. So there you go. Those are my top 10 tips, or top 10 things that you should know about Affinity. Hopefully that was really helpful, because it's changed a little bit. If you want to see more of a full tutorial, you can go to this video right here that I made. I go through all the tools on the vector side. Stay tuned for more videos showing the other studios with all the tools that I'll show you how to use those as well. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.